Prime factorization. Dwight has recorded 480 minutes of IBS symptoms over the last month. What is the prime factorization of 480? So, let's go over what prime factorization is. Prime factorization occurs when we divide the number into all prime numbers. There is something that we have done in the previous lessons, but we did not use the fancy term of prime factorization. One method for finding these numbers is to use a factor tree. This occurs when we split this number into two numbers that can be multiplied together to equal the number above it. So let's do the factor tree here with 480. So we would write 480 at the top, and then we would divide it by, we'll say 2 for this one. So 2 goes into 480 240 times. So if you multiply these two numbers together, they equal 480 above. So we know 2 is a prime number, so we'll just circle that number because we don't need to divide it further. Now 240, let's continue to divide this one. 240 divided by 2 is 120. So we'll circle the 2 because it's a prime number. Then we have 120, and let's divide this one. 2 into 60. We'll circle the 2. Now we have 60. 60 can be divided into 2 again. So we'll keep the 2, and we have 30 here. Then we have 30, so then we divide this by 2. You get 2 and 15. We circle the 2 because it's a prime number. Now 15 can be divided now by 3 and 5. And these both are prime numbers. So we look at this factor tree and notice how many prime numbers we have of each. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2's. So we would have to go 2 to the 5th times this 3 times 5. And this is the prime factorization for this number. So let's look at another example, but we're going to use a different method. The second method is called the divisibility ladder. So we have Raphael, known that his IBS is caused by stress at work. To help manage his stress, he has started participating in yoga and has logged 1,890 minutes over the last 3 months. What is the prime factorization of 1,890? So for this one, looks a lot kind of like almost like we're doing long division, but instead we have it like this. We have 890, and then we throw this essentially L shape, kind of like this, around the number. And then what we're going to do is divide this number by a prime number, which would be 2. We'll just start out with 2. And so 2 goes into 1,890 times 945 times. Now we would just do the same thing. So it starts to look more like a ladder as we continue to go down. So now 945 can be divided by, it's not even, so let's do 3. So 3 goes into 945 times 315 times. So now we have 315. So then we would divide this further. 315 is divided by 3. So 3 goes into 315 how many times? And then we'd write the answer below. So 3 goes into 315, so we have 105. Now, 105 can be divided by 3 again, and this gets us the answer to 35. So 3 goes into 105 35 times. Now we can divide 35 by 5 and 7, which are prime numbers. So our prime numbers for this one, we have 1, 2, and then we have 1, 2, 3 2s. So we have to put times 3 to the third times 5 times 7. And a way you can double check that you did this right is you could multiply all these numbers, these prime numbers, back together to see if you get your original number. And so to summarize, prime factorization is when you divide the number into smaller numbers, which are like prime numbers. Two methods for doing this is prime factorization tree and prime factorization ladder, or the divisibility ladder.